don't know if you guys can hear me. I have my ear things back in, so let me know if you guys can hear me. Hello? Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. Do I have audio? Do I have audio? Anyone? Do I have audio? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is there audio? I don't even know. Let me know if you can't hear me. Let me know if I'm mute. Can you hear me? Let me know. Anywho, how's everyone? I'm back. I actually had to go use the restroom, to be honest. I was like, Richard, I have to use the restroom so bad. I'm gonna have to go over to the Whole Foods. There's a Whole Foods near Central Park, but it actually is a mall. So I went to the mall. But the restroom on like the second floor was closed, and I was like, oh no. But they had an open restroom on the third floor, thank goodness. But I was like, I have to use the restroom so bad. So that's why I jumped off, and now I'm back. So can you hear me? Like, do I have audio? Can you guys hear me? Because I have these in, so let me know if you can't hear me by any means. But yeah, so I'm still here in Central Park. I had a great time on the horse. That was fun. And now I'm just chilling here. Look at this like beautiful bridge behind me. Isn't that pretty? Like, I find that to be just gorgeous. Central Park is so interesting. It used to be extremely dangerous. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Someone give me something if you can hear me or not. But anyways, Central Park. What's going on? Oh, it must be like for wedding photos. Like people are filming right now. It's like a guy's taking someone's photo on the bridge. He's got like a massive camera. So I think they like, hired him to take like their wedding photos or something. But Central Park used to be extremely dangerous many, many years ago. Like you would be mugged like if you came into Central Park, but that's not the case anymore. It's extremely safe now. Oh my god, that's a big rat. There's a rat that just went by. It was a big one. Those are like the size we had at Gloria's. Um, then big boy. But anywho, she had mice the size of rats. But there's usually like a ton of squirrels, but like really big squirrels. They have like really big squirrels in Central Park. Like the biggest squirrels I've ever seen are in Central Park. They're like the size of rabbits. They're huge here. They are well fed, these creatures. But Central Park is just like nothing else in the world because it's such a huge amount of acreage that the city will never change as far as like they will always leave it a park. Um, and that's like a huge amount of real estate in Manhattan that is expensive real estate. But like New York is so about parks, and I love that about New York, like because Central Park isn't near um, the nearly the only park in Manhattan. I don't know if you know that. There's like tons of parks in Manhattan, tons. But the biggest one is Central Park. But there are so many parks in Manhattan. Like that'd be something to look up of like how many parks are in Manhattan because it is like astronomical for the amount of acres in Manhattan to like the amount of parks they do so many parks, and it's a big deal here. People like take a lot of pride in like the parks. Can you guys hear me? Why a ponytail? What, Rich? What are you talking about? Um. Anywho, there are so many parks in Manhattan, and that's what makes Manhattan beautiful. Is they will not get rid of the parks. Like they find it to be a very important part of the city. So you have like all of this real estate that's like designated to parks, which There's people that would rather probably, build buildings or anything else there, do commercial or residential buildings, but people say, "No, we want parks." So, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool the amount of real estate they designate just for parks. And their parks are, like, the best parks in the world, and Central Park is just to die for. It's so beautiful here. The trees here are just, like, I mean, I don't even know what kind they are, but they're just I mean, it's not just one kind, there's so many different kinds, but I don't know, like, any of the names of the trees here, but they are, like, such pretty trees. And, um, it's so green here because there's so much rain. Oh, yeah, really hard. So it's amazing in New York how much they kind of like designate to make sure like it stays like a beautiful place. Like they will not let people remove the parks. Like and they won't be like, no, even though it'd be, make more money for the city, it's just like no, keep a park. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they do that. Because I'm telling you, like the real estate of the value of the land for the parks is astronomical in Manhattan, but they won't do it. They will designate areas just for parks. And like Central Park is like a huge part of New York City. I don't know like from where it goes to exactly, and like I can't tell you the exact like street that it starts and stops on. I mean, you can look it up, but I don't know it like offhand. But it's a lot. And the guy told me that it was like 7 miles. Um, but like Manhattan from top. Oh my God, that's another huge rat. Oh, Jesus, he's running right at me. Oh gosh. So big rat. And that's a small one. There are rats just going crazy around here. There was like a huge one and like two little ones. Well, hello, like that one's a tiny one. That other one was like huge. Oh my goodness, that must have been Grandpa. And then there's the baby and then one mama or something. Because that, oh dear, they're running at me. Oh gosh, they're darting right at me. Anywho, isn't this pretty? This bridge. Look at this bridge behind me. Look how pretty that is. I think it's really pretty. So that's why I sat here because I was like, "That's a really pretty bridge." I'm gonna sit by the bridge. It's pretty. I think it's pretty. Um, so I had to use the restroom, you guys, in the stream. I TMI, but I literally had diarrhea, and I was sitting here and I was like, Richard, I have to go to the bathroom so bad. And I was like, I'm gonna have to go to Whole Foods, but then I realized like the Whole Foods is actually in a mall, so I actually just used the mall restroom. But on the second floor was the restroom, and it was closed, and I was like, oh no, because I had to go so bad. And then I asked the lady, I was like, is there another restroom in the mall? And she's like, on the third floor, and I was like, oh, thank God. So I went to the third floor, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I was like, this is not good. So anyway, TMI. But yeah, I literally just had diarrhea. And so that's what took a second for me to come back. So Richard is right now taking Gloria to get her eyeglasses. Annette got eyeglasses, but she doesn't like to wear them. But we got them for her, but she's not really a fan of them. But Gloria will wear them, and Gloria needs to take her driver test. So I don't know if you guys know, like we had a driver, so not a driver test. Her So Gloria lost her license only because she didn't have the right paperwork, and they said if you come back within the year, you can get it reinstated. Because right now she just has an identification card, um, and so that was what in like June or something, June or July. So it just to be before next July. So, but we made her an appointment for I think it was like August 30th. But get this, the DMV was completely shut down. I don't know if you guys know this. Like the Nevada DMV got hacked. So they were like shut down for like a month. You could not use their services. And that was during the time Gloria had her appointment. I was like, oh, of course, right? And so I just scheduled her another appointment, I think, for in October. Um, but for that appointment, she needs to have good glasses that are her prescription, that are the right ones, because her old glasses were her old prescription, but now like her eyes have gotten worse, so it had to be updated. And there's also paperwork that she was supposed to bring, which I have it now. I was like, this time I'm like, give it to me so you don't forget next time. So I'm holding on to it for when we go to their next appointment. But that's where Rich and Gloria are right now, is getting Gloria's eyeglasses. So I'm really happy about that, because I'm like, Gloria definitely needs to get updated glasses, because her glasses are like an old prescription. So like they probably need to be updated in the sense of her eyes keep, as you get older, your eyes get worse. So her old prescription isn't as strong as the new prescription for the glasses, if that makes sense. So they're getting that right now, which is making Gloria happy, and then she'll have that for her appointment. So I said, Richard, you have to take her so that she has the glasses for her appointment, and she just needs them in general, but definitely like so she can pass her driver thing, so she can get her license again. She doesn't have like to do the driving test or the written test. It's just like she has to pass a visual test, where Annette actually has to retake it all. Annette used to have a driver's license, but that was about 10 years ago. So she has to now take the written and driving test again. And I'm going to schedule those appointments too for her, so she can get that. Annette really wants to drive, and she used to drive. I know people think it's crazy, but she used to drive. With her condition, I mean, she used to drive. And we want her and Gloria to have a little more freedom, and they're like, we would love if we could get a second car for them to drive around, and maybe that'll happen, like one that's like not too expensive. But I don't know if that'll happen. But definitely, I would let Annette drive my car, because the Mercedes is my car. Like, it's in my name. It's my car. Um, I don't think I'd let Gloria, because Gloria doesn't know how to drive. Um, even when she knows how to drive, she doesn't know how to drive. But Annette is a very good driver. So I would let Annette before I let Gloria. Gloria, for one thing, the car is too big for her. That it's like a truck, and Gloria's tiny, so that wouldn't work for her. But Gloria has been like ruining cars since I've known her. Like, she just like runs into everything, and getting so many accidents. Where Annette doesn't do that. So Annette, I'd feel more comfortable with her driving the Mercedes than Gloria. But I would let Gloria possibly drive the Mercedes, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I already banged it up, so she couldn't do much more worse than me, probably. But she probably would find a way to make it even worse. Like, Gloria used to ruin her cars and then spend so much money fixing her cars, like on exterior things. Like, she would hit everything, and then she would like get people to like fix it, out of her own money. But I'd be like, but then like she wouldn't do like maintenance. And I'm like, you're fixing the exterior, but basically not the interior of the car. You know what I mean? Like, your engine is not working, but you keep like getting body maintenance on the car. Like, I was always like, I didn't understand that. I was like, just leave it dinged up and have the engine run better. She would never do her proper like engine maintenance, but if she put a ding in it, she'd go get that fixed. You know what I mean? And she would do it all of the time. So she'd be like, "Oh, I just got my car fixed, and I hit it again because always at the casinos. She would hit cars in the casino parking lots, and not just cars, the poles, whatever, whatever. She would always hit things coming in and out of the casino parking lots. So her with that big truck makes me nervous. Um, Not that I'm worried that she's gonna bang it up, just more that it's a lot for her. It's a big vehicle. I don't care if she bangs it up. I just don't know if she can handle it. But Annette would do fabulous with it, because Annette's like very tall, and that's like 5'8" or 9, where Gloria's like 5'2". She's tiny. Gloria can barely get in that truck, and Annette would do great in it. So it is what it is. I would let either of them, but I'd feel more comfortable with Annette than Gloria. Isn't that crazy? Um, but ideally, we could get a smaller car for them to kind of like put around town. We would love to even get like a golf cart. That would be fun because there's like all these golf carts in our complex. Oh my god, these are huge rats. Good god. Oh my god. Like monster sized rats. They run around Central Park. Good lord. But anyways, uh, a golf cart would be amazing because you can actually take those. They're street legal, like you can take them on the regular road. But that's what everyone drives around our neighborhood because there's a golf course, so like they do the golf cart. But those are like more expensive than most cars. I don't know if you know that. Like most golf carts, like at least like $20,000. And I'm like, well, might as well just get a car if we could do that. Um, so I mean, that's the price we paid for the Mercedes. A lot of money, and that was used. So it's like that's a lot of money. I didn't know they were that much. They were a lot, and um, so, but we talked to Annette about maybe just getting her for now, like a motorized scooter. And we said, would you like a motorized scooter? And she said, yeah. And so we're gonna look into that. We're looking into getting her a motorized scooter. Um, and I think she would enjoy just like putting around town with that, you know. I don't know if it'd be like one of those ones you stand on, or whether it'd be like a bike, or I don't know which thing would be best, but something where she could like put around town, but it'd be motorized, you know. So I guess there's like all these regulations on the different. So they have like different levels of motorized like bicycles. I don't know if you guys know this. They have some that are so they have like ones that some just like assist with the pedaling, and those ones are allowed in more places than the ones that have like actual motor, more like a motorcycle. So depending on where you're going, like there's certain islands you can't take the motorized vehicles. I don't know if you know that. So like depending on like where you're traveling, which wouldn't be an issue for us because in Nevada you're allowed to have it, but there are different regulations depending on where you're going with the scooters and the bicycles that like they have like different grades of some are fully motorized, some are partially motorized, and I don't know if you guys know, there's like all these different ones. So we probably want to get the one that could be fully motorized. Oh my god, that's cute. There's two rats, but one must be a mom and the other one is a baby because the baby is just like crawling under the mom. Like just like walking under the mom. Like the mom and the baby are walking around and but the baby is underneath the mom. Like underneath the mom and they're just like walking around. It's really cute. But the mom is huge. It could be a dad, I guess. And the baby's tiny. So the baby's like walking all around just underneath. There are an insane amount of rats right here. This is a lot of rats. I've already seen about 10. Oh my gosh, there's another one. There are a lot of rats right here. Oh, there's another one. There's a lot. Um, this is like Rat Central, right? This is Rat Central Park for real. That is so many rats. They're just everywhere. Oh, dude, that is like a mom and like 20 babies. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to get food here. I guess people must chuck it to them or something. I don't know. You never see anyone like feeding the animals, but they must. I don't know what it. Where? What else do rats eat? I'm trying to think. Like, what do they eat in nature? I don't know. To be honest, they appear to be looking around for food, but I don't know what they eat in nature. Um, I know they like human food, but I don't know what nature provides for them. But apparently something, because these guys are on a scavenger hunt. I'll tell you that much. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Jesus, it's a lot of rats. It's a lot of rats. So many dogs. Yeah, everybody's got dogs. Beautiful dogs. I don't think there's like an ugly dog in New York City. Like, I think you have to have a good looking animal. It's like a requirement. It's a requirement. I'm just kidding, but for real, like, you see these people with like the most phenomenal breeds of dogs, and they're probably not cheap on any level. Um, but often they're matching the owners. Like there was a girl the other day I posted a photo. She had like matching Crocs with her dog. Her dog had these little blue Crocs, and so did she. And I was like, oh, only in Manhattan. That's just so cute. But often they'll be like wearing like matching little like shirts because people put like shirts on their dogs, you know, and sweaters and like vests and like scarves and like bows and things. And they'll be like matching their owners, and it's like super cute. Um, but there are so many pets here, pets and wildlife, so much in New York City. What is that person doing? I think she's doing yoga. Oh, okay. She's like bent over. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. I was up really late actually. I think I was talking to Bethany until like midnight. Um, now that I think about it, yeah, it was about midnight when me and her finally was that last night. Maybe that was the night before. I can't. I lose track. The days blur together to me. May have been the night before, but I was up late again last night. If it wasn't talking about the Dome, I was up working. I can't remember honestly which night it was. They kind of all blur together in my mind. Um, but I leave on Tuesday, and I'm excited to go home. But I am having a good time at the same token, if that makes sense. But I definitely will be ready to go home. And I'm tired. Like you see me yawn, I'm just tired, you know, because I don't sleep nearly enough in New York City. Like I try to, but it's hard sleeping here. It's a city that never sleeps. So like I end up staying up really late, which is so weird for me. You guys know me in Vegas. I go to like 6 p.m. Here I'll be up till like midnight, 2 a.m. Like no problem. Sometimes even like all night. Like the other day, I was up till like 6 a.m. and then I was like, oh dear, I should go to bed. And then I realized it was already like too late because I needed to like check in my hotel back in, and because I do like reservations for like 2 days, and sometimes four. Like this one I did for four. Like when I checked in today. Um, but a lot of times it's 2 days because it makes it more affordable that way. So I just kind of like pay as I go. So I'll do like 2 days pay, and there's always $100 to $200 deposit every time you check in. So like at the hotel I'm staying at right now, I already have like all these deposits due back to me. So that'll be good when those come back. Um, but every time you check in, they have to take another deposit. So like I have like a lot of pending deposits out right now. And when all those funds come back, that'll be really good. But this was my final check-in at a hotel. So I'm staying at the hotel that I'm at till the end of my trip, and then that's it. So that's it. And it was a $200 deposit this time because it was for 4 days. It's like 100 if it's for 2 days. It must be like 50 a day now that I think about it. Um, I thought it was just like 100 for a stay, but it must be like 50 a day. That would make more sense. Um, so I checked in today, and I felt proud that this is like my last time I have to. So I'm like, this is it. And then I go home. So I'm like, I'm on the last leg of the trip here. You know what I mean? And I've been only eating lamb. That's what I've been eating. I miss my beef so much, but lamb has been decent enough. I'll get it from the halal stands. I'll either get a kebab, but kebabs they charge me 13. So what I started doing is getting a lamb gyro, which is it has the pita and lettuce, but I don't eat the pita or lettuce. Like I just eat the meat off of it. And I asked them to put no sauces. I say a little hot sauce, so I can handle a little hot sauce. I say light hot sauce. But I don't like that white sauce they put. I don't know what that white sauce is they put on there. I don't like that. So I do that. That's been working out pretty well. So that's what I had like this morning. So like all I've had today is like I just had a little of the lamb, and I throw out everything other than the lamb. So I throw out. They always put like a tomato, and they put lettuce, and they put onions, and it's in a pita. That I discard all of that, um, and then I just eat the lamb. And I found that it was only $10 to do it that way versus the kebab they want to charge 13. And I don't feel like it's like substantially a different amount of meat with the kebab versus the gyro. So I kind of feel like I'm saving myself $3. That's what I feel like. I feel like I found a better deal here. Just get it this way. And you can also do it with the rice. But I feel like that's like just more wasteful of like stuff. I'm just like I feel like because I'm not gonna eat it. So I'm just like I don't need the rice. I don't need those. So I find just give me the pita. I'll throw that out. I don't know which cost them more, the rice or the pita. So I don't know what they would prefer because I'm not gonna eat it. So it's like literally just keep that part, but I don't say that because they almost find it weird if you don't want the things. It's like because I even tried to be like I don't need the tomato or lettuce, but they just look at me funny, and I'm like just fine. Okay, I'll just throw it out. But you're just giving me something I'm not gonna eat. But all right, whatever. I mean, save for the next person. Um, but they look at you weird, like you don't want the you don't want the tomato, you don't want the lettuce, and like fine, put it on there, fine, and I just eat around it. Um, but if you put the sauce, it's difficult because it's like slathered in sauce when they put the sauce. So I say no sauce, and they even go no sauce, no white sauce. I go no white sauce, and they're like oh no white sauce, no white sauce. And they just like they think it's the weirdest thing in the world to say no white sauce. Like, no, I don't want the white sauce. Just give me a little of that hot sauce. Should suffice. That's fine. Very little. Don't be putting a ton on there. I have a very low tolerance to heat. Uh, I like a little bit of spice. They say a lot of spice or a little spice, little bit, muy pequeña. Um, and there's this one stand. I just love the guy. Like we've become friends now, and I go, "Oh, my friend, hello, how are you today?" And he, oh, love, Gyro, you know me. And so they always hate when you use a card though, and I have like no cash this trip. I love having cash because they hate when you use a card. They go, "No cash." And I say, "No, I'm sorry. I know." And they go, "Fine." They hate cards at the stands. And I never have cash this trip because it requires me to go to the bank, and like the bank isn't close to where I'm staying. Usually there's a Chase on every corner except for apparently the corner I'm staying on. It's not close. Like the closest Chase is about like 2 miles away. So I have to like I'll go there. And I have Capital One. That's not even remotely close. There's like 4 Capital Ones in Manhattan, which is more than in Vegas. There's not one Capital One in Vegas. You have to go to like Walgreens. Luckily, Richard has Chase, so we don't have to go to Walgreens. We just add to his account and transfer to me when in need. But in New York, there actually are Capital Ones, but they're few and far between. But there's a gazillion Chases. But apparently, where I'm staying, there's no bank in the vicinity anywhere. So, like with the maid today, I said I'll have to go to the bank, and I had to walk her the 2 miles, and that's when I came back, and then gave him the $20 tip. But I was like, I have to go to a bank, and I won't pay like a fee, so I don't want to just go like to an ATM that's not your bank, especially if there is your bank in Manhattan. I go like I'm gonna pay like $6 in fees, so I go to walk to the Chase, but I just got the funds back for the euro transfer. Did you guys hear about that? Like, I had a client that paid me in euros. So I went and deposited it into my bank, but they say it can take anywhere from like 7 to 10 business days, but it didn't take that long. I don't remember what day I did that, but it was in there today. So I was like, oh, cool, that came in. So I was like pleasantly surprised. Like, oh, I have more money in my account than I thought. That's great because I use my account to pay the hotels. So if there isn't enough in my account, like Richard transfers from his account. So we pay bills out of Richard's account. We don't do anything with my account except for pay for hotels for the most part. Um, And so I almost never use my debit card. Like I just use like the digital of Richard's debit card usually for everything because like all the money usually is in that account. And it's easier for me to deposit to Chase than to Capital One. Like I said, because the Capital One is like on 34th Street, which is not close to where I'm staying. I won't say where I'm staying, but it's not close to 34th Street. I'll tell you that much. And that's like the only Capital One even remotely close. Um, and it's like right next to the Macy's on 34th Street. And it's great that there are Capital One branches because, like I said, they don't even have branches in Nevada. And I was talking to the lady when I was doing the Euro transfer, and I was like, "That's so great! You guys actually have a branch because where I live, they don't even have a branch." She said, "Yeah, they're actually closing a lot of the branches too." She said, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks." Um, she said, "Yeah, they've closed a lot of them, but Capital One is really good about they have branches that have like cafes and they have like areas in the mall designated if you are a Capital One person because I have like." Uh, well, between me and Richard, we have like 3 Capital One credit cards, and I have a Capital One debit card. So I have like 4 Capital One cards in my wallet. Um, so if you are like a Capital One member, there's these like nice little areas in the airports, these lounges. They have these Capital One lounges where you can go in there and stuff, and they have like food and beverages for free. Um, I've never gone because I don't really care to eat or drink at the airport. I just usually bring a water bottle and fill it up. I don't spend money at the airport, but and I guess that's free. But I don't eat at the airport, so like, I would have no need to go in there except to maybe get a water. But yeah, but they are nice. It's not they have it. So I could if I wanted to, but I usually don't because I wouldn't say usually don't. I've never gone into their lounges. I've just walked by them and seen them. Um, but yeah, I don't eat airport food. It's too expensive, and it's not really usually the food I want to eat. Because unless it's beef burgers or lamb, I'm not really a fan. So I'm not gonna spend $50 on something I don't want to eat, basically. You know what I mean? So I don't like spending $10 on a water, just personally. Call me a cheapskate, but I hate airport prices. They're like astronomical. I remember back in the day when I drank caffeine, like it'd be like $10 for like Starbucks at the airport, and I'm like, good God. You know what I mean? I would do that back in the day. I would always get a Starbucks back in the day. Oh my God, I would get a Starbucks always, anytime I went anywhere. I was obsessed with Starbucks. I don't know if you guys know that. I haven't stepped foot in a Starbucks in about, well, how many years has it been since 2018? 2018 is the last time I've stepped foot in a Starbucks. So it's been a minute. And the only time I ever consider is like to maybe use their restroom. Like I thought about it today. If there was no restroom, I was like, I'll just go to a Starbucks. But then there was a mall, so I just used the restroom at the mall. But it actually is very difficult to find a restroom in Manhattan. I don't know if you know that. Like a lot of establishments don't have them. So like if you go, unless it's like a sit down restaurant, and a sit down restaurant like a restaurant, like even a lot of the cafes might not even have a, like even if it's a sit down cafe, they may or may not have a restroom. Like restrooms are so rare in Manhattan. So the other day, actually, they shut down my street for the 9/11 events, and I was like, I need to get to my hotel, and these other people were like, we need to get to our office, and they're like, sorry, the road is closed, and we're like, that's just a thing. You don't let people get by to their hotel or their office building, and they said, yeah, sorry, and I was just like, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad, and I was like, oh no, and I was on the phone with Richard, and it wasn't like I had to poo. This time I did have to poo today. This was I just had to pee, and I was like, oh no, Richard, like I'm about to pee my pants, like, and I don't know what to do, like I don't even know where I'm supposed to go. And so I considered like finding a Starbucks, but I was like, oh dear, I'm like scratching my head, like, oh no, and I end up just saying, forget it. I'm going to go on the other side of the street and see if I can get to my hotel from the other side, even though it was shut off on both sides. Because it was only like this one fireman, and he was like super rude to everybody. And he was blocking everyone. He's like, nope, can't pass. Sorry, no, no, tell you, it's closed. We're like, go to the wind. He's like, no, but it's closed. Road's closed. Go another way. And they're like, our office building is right there. How are we supposed to get to work? No, I tell you. No, I tell you. I'm like, my hotel's right there. How am I supposed to get up? No, I tell you. The road's closed. And I was like, what? That's a thing? You just close it to like walking pedestrians? Like, I get closing it to cars. But I was just like, so I was like, no, that's not going to be acceptable. So I'm like, I'm going to go on the other side. Because I go, can we enter from the other side? He goes, nope, road's closed. But I'm like, well, F that. I'm going to find a way. And so I go on the other side of the street. And luckily, like, it was still closed. But, like, it wasn't, such a strict man on that side. And so everyone was just passing anyways, like moving the cones and walking by. And so I got to my hotel and luckily made it to the restroom. But I was just like, that's a thing to just like shut it down and say someone can't get to work, or I mean, because that's even worse than with my hotel. You know what I mean? But to tell like, oh no, just can't get to work. Sorry, can't get to your office building. Roads closed for 9/11 events. I'm just like, this seems crazy to me. Like, I get closing it to cars, but to closing it to like pedestrians walking on a sidewalk, like I sometimes I can't with Manhattans. They do that with the marathons too. They'll shut down so many roads for a marathon, and you cannot pass. You cannot pass. You can't like get on like one side of the street. Like if you're on one side of the street, and they'll do it in an L. So what'll happen is you'll be shut off like all the way this way, and then like this. So like if you're, let's say, on this side of the L, in order to get around, you have to go so far because you have to go above the L, which could be like way uptown. Because the marathons go like all the way down Manhattan and then they turn. So it's like this L shape that, like, if you're on east side, you are cut off from west side, and then when you're down there where it does the L, if you're on like downtown, you're cut off from going uptown. And you're just like, this is a thing that you just shut down everything. I remember the day before me and Richard moved from Manhattan, they were doing a marathon and they shut down everything. And all you can do is go underground. Like you have to go to the subway to get around. Um, but sometimes there isn't even a subway near. So like this one time we were like on like third and I want to say fourth, like third and fourth. And in order to get past, we had to go all the way up to 50th in order to even get underground to pass. I remember it was like, are you kidding me? Because I kept asking the cops. I was like, where do we go to get to the other side of the city? Like our hotel's on the other side of the city, and they're like, you got to go to 50th. And I'm like, to 50th? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, can we get on the subway? And they're like, no, not on in this area. The subway's on the other side. So the only way, then the closest subway on this side is at 50th. So I'm like, so you're telling me to walk 50 blocks in order to cross the street, basically? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that's a thing? Like, that's a thing that people just deal with? And they're like, yeah, that's what the New York City Marathon is. And I was like, no, this is too much. Like, I'm like, how do people function when they do things like that? Like, you're telling me I have to go from 4th to 50th in order to cross the street. That's what you're telling me. They're like, yeah, you walk 50 blocks, basically. Or walk, what, 46 blocks? Walk 46 blocks. And then you can cross the street. And I'm just like, how do people deal with this level of nonsense? And that was one of the times that I was like, I am glad we are leaving. I mean, I wasn't glad, but I was like, that is insane. Like, that is absolutely insane to me. Like, if I had a normal job and was trying to get to work, I would lose my mind if that was what they told me. Like, sorry, you're gonna be late for work. You gotta walk 46 blocks. Like, you're just like, and not even a taxi can get you there. I mean, it's just shut off. So I even was in a taxi that he goes, this is as far as I can take you. And I had paid for this taxi and he drove me about 3 blocks. And I needed him to drive me about 50 blocks. And he goes, this is as far as I can go. And I didn't get my money back. It was like an Uber thing. And I'm like, wait, you're telling me this is as far as you can go and I already paid you? And he's like, yep, sorry. Like, it's a New York City Marathon, what am I going to tell you? And I was like, so I just paid you the amount to take me 50 blocks, but you only took me 3. Fabulous. So happy about that. And you can't get your money back, it's in the Uber app. And I was like, great, thanks. I could have walked 3 blocks and I had you drive me 3 blocks to have you then make me walk 46, like, other blocks or whatever, it's just like 47. And yeah, you just deal with that in the city. For a what I call a fun run. For a fun run, they shut down the entire city. And I asked Rich, I'm like, how is this something that the city occurs? He's like, well, people pay a lot of money for that to be in the marathon. And I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Did you know that? You have to pay to be in those marathons. So it makes money for the city. That's why they do it. But I'm like, good Lord. I mean, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard because it's people running and they shut down the entire city for people running. And he's like, yep, they just do that. That's Manhattan. And I'm like, dumb. Dumb. I was so mad. I'm like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then the same thing was occurring with the 9/11. I'm like, sorry, road's closed. Don't know what to tell you. Find another way. Find another way to the hotel that's on the road that you're saying is closed, or the office building. How is there another way other than we all did find another way because there wasn't a person as strict on the other side? But had he been just as strict, we would have been screwed. But luckily, everyone was like, screw this guy, go to the other guy. And the other guy was like not being as strict and letting people come through. But if he had been as strict as the other guy, like they were supposed to be, it would have been no passing. But with the marathon, it's not a strict thing. It's you can't pass because people are running and they block it off. I mean, there's these barricades, like there's no passing. And it's barricaded for, like I said, from this entire L, which I don't know if you guys know, Manhattan is an island, and they will do the marathon. Will be an insanely large portion of the island is designated for the marathon, and so you're just like screwed to pass on either side, and the L goes down, so that means you can't go east or west. But then when it turns, it obstructs you from even going north and south, uptown, downtown, if you're on the bottom of the L, if that makes sense. Like if you're on the side of the L, you're good. But if you're on the bottom of the L, now you're restricted from going up as well. So what happened with me is I'm in a taxi and we get stuck at the L at the bottom. And he goes, I can't bring you further up. Like I could bring you further up over here, but you need to be over here. So what I needed to be was like over here. So I needed to be like here, and the L went like like this, and I need to be like right here. So it was like he's like, I can bring you here. You need to be here. I can bring you here. That's it. And I was like, oh, good God. Oh, okay, fine. What are you going to do? And sure, kick me out of the Uber. Sure, I'll find my way. So I call Rich because I was leaving a client at the time. I call Rich and I go, this is ridiculous. This damn marathon. And he's like, that's it. And so then me and him then decide we want to go we're on the east side at the time. We were staying in a hotel on the east side. And we're east side and uptown. We were in uptown east side, so like upper east side is what they call it. And we needed to go somewhere downtown west side. And not like downtown, I would say like further down, like We were like on like 53rd and we were actually on 53rd now that I think about it. 53rd and like 3rd. And we wanted to go to like 14th and like 8th. And it was like, no way. It was like, no, sorry. So we found we could go under the subway to get over there, but it was extremely difficult, and it wasn't like you could take the subway because like the subway goes in this path. Most of the subway lines go down the path where the L occurs, so you can't even necessarily get on the subway. And I know it's underground, but still, like, a lot of the entrances to the subway were at a point that you couldn't get to, if that makes sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the subway, technically you could have been on because it's underground, but like to get to that subway required, the exterior entrance that was somewhere you couldn't get to. So that's what I was saying. Like you had to. Oh my gosh! Hi there, squirrely man. Oh gosh, you're a big squirrel. Look at you. Look at these. I'll show you. Look at these big squirrels. They're so big. Hello there, Mister. Hello there. It's the biggest squirrel. Look at those tails. Oh my gosh, they're like Casper size. These squirrels. They're like rabbit size. They're big. Isn't that a big squirrel? I mean, that's not like a small squirrel. That's like a big squirrel. I don't know if there's like different breeds of squirrels. I know nothing about squirrels, to be honest, except for that they're adorable. That's about as far as I know. That they're just little cutie bees. What's going on? This is not in Illinois. It's fun. Let me look, you guys. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! My tripod is being difficult. Okay. Ah! No, stay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. But are those big squirrels? Oh, like those aren't like small squirrels. Those are big. They're like chasing after each other. Oh my gosh, there's two like literally chasing each other up the tree. How cute! Oh dear, it's not so cute when the squirrels chase each other. Oh my god, I love squirrels. It never goes into that. Oh, okay. Bunnies, horses, and squirrels are like my fave. So me and Richard used to feed the creatures when we lived in the cave, and there was a fox, and there was all these squirrels. Oh my god! Every morning, these little cuties would come up because they knew that we had food, and we would leave out food for the fox every night. He would come by. Oh my god! And we found out about the fox because he took our entire jar of. We used to use um, what do they call it? Coconut oil to cook with, but it would be like that thick coconut oil that was in like a jar. And one morning, like our jar of coconut oil was gone, and we were like, who took the coconut oil? And it was the fox. He took it. He took it. He took the coconut oil because then we saw him and he tried to take something else one day. We're like, oh, it was you. So then we started feeding him. But he would come take like our food if we didn't feed him. But he took our whole jar of like when I don't know if you guys know the jars like this, and he took it. And I'm like, I hope he was able to get into it. You know what I mean? Because it was like closed, and the little guy like had a little heyday with the coconut oil, I guess, because it was like thick coconut oil, if that makes sense. Like you can eat some coconut oil. Like actually, we used to even get this thing. It was like a whole coconut in a jar, like a whole raw coconut in a jar. Um, it was called like Nature's something, like Nature's Best. I think that's the vitamins, but it was something like that. And it was a raw coconut that me and Richard would like eat out of this jar. Like we would eat the coconut, and you could use it to cook with, or you could just eat it because it was like food. So I feel like it was that one that he took that day. It's been so many years ago. This was in like 2018, but yeah, he was so sweet. He had a little pet fox and all these squirrels, but really small squirrels, like squirrels like this big, not like these guys, not like Manhattan squirrels. Manhattan squirrels are enormous, but these were the little squirrels, the little guys that are almost like the size of like mice. They're really little. Oh gosh, they were cute. And they would run up and they'd want their food and we would throw out whatever we had at the time. I don't remember what we'd even feed them. But oh gosh. Oh, I love wild animals more than pets. So I didn't actually want a pet. I don't know if you guys know that. I didn't actually want Casper. I mean, it's terrible to say that now. Good now, oh my god. But I didn't at the time because I only liked wild animals. Like I didn't want a pet. But then I kept feeding the wild animals is why someone reached out to me about Casper. It came from someone on Twitter, someone I don't know. It's this gentleman. I mean, I don't know him to this day. I only met him the one time when he gave me the bunny. Um, and I can't even remember his name to be honest. I feel like it was Trey or something like that, but I can't even remember fully. Um, but he said, I've been watching you on Twitter for a long time, and I got this bunny. These girls were giving bunnies away at Raising Cane's, and I really wanted him, but now I realize he's a lot of work, and I just don't think I can take care of a bunny. But and I was just like, oh no, oh no. Oh dear, I don't want a pet. I don't want to deal with this, but how can I not? How can I not take that little cutie? And so I tell Richard, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, yes, you have to." And I'm like, with like, one thing at the time, we didn't have a lot of money. You know, it was when we were still really struggling early on, so we knew like a pet was going to be expensive. It's an extra expense and all these things. But oh, once I saw Casper's face, I was just like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And I am so thankful because I even almost backed out because the guy was like, he's like, I want to give you him, but can I actually just spend another weekend with him because he's so cute? I want to just like spend a little time with him. And I was like, sure, yeah, I mean, sure. And so he was supposed to give me Casper like on Friday, but he's like, can I just keep him until Monday? And I said, sure, no problem. I mean, it's your bunny right now. I mean, you haven't given it to me, so it's your bunny. And but then when on Monday he was like super flaky and was like not responding to me because he gave me his, his cell number. And I was just like, Richard, should I just like throw in the towel about this? And he's like, I don't think so. I think you should like work hard to get this bunny. And I was like, I don't know. Is this guy messing with me? Like, I don't understand. He keeps kind of like delaying. Maybe there isn't even really a bunny. Maybe someone's playing a prank on me and all this stuff. And he's like, I think there's really a bunny. He sent you a video. Just like, don't give up hope. And I was like, okay. So we finally meet the guy like late on a Monday, and like compared to we were supposed to meet him like in the morning, but it wasn't until like 4 p.m. probably. And then he says, I have a rental car. Can you follow me to the gas station? I need to get gas. And then I also need to clean the car because I've had the bunny in the car. And just follow me to the gas station and then I'll give you the bunny. And I'm just like, this guy is like, it's getting complicated. And I was like, should we do this? And Richard's like, Joy, like, totally just like, stop like giving up. Like, you want a bunny, whether you want a pet or not, like, you would love a bunny. And I'm like, all right. So, okay. So we follow him and he shows me Casper and I go, oh my God. And I just remember like the first minute I held Casper, like I was just like, this was so like me waiting and me like, thinking the guy was a fake, but like being like, oh, Richard, thank you, thank you, thank you. And when I first held Casper, he like immediately started licking me, which I don't know if you guys know, it's actually kind of rare for bunnies too. Like they're not as like other animals that do that all the time. Like, I mean, maybe your bunny does, but it's more a rare thing. Like Casper's never licked Richard. I mean, he only licks me once in a while. I mean, it's a rare thing, but when he does, it's just the sweetest thing. But I remember him licking me that first day, and even the guy saying, "He never licked me. He likes you." And I just was like, immediately, me and Casper were just buddies. And I gave him a carrot. I remember we don't give him carrots anymore, but he loved it. And I remember just holding him. He used to be held when he was a baby. He wouldn't mind being held, but once he got a little older, he does not like to be held. I can pick him up, but he don't like it. He lets me, but he doesn't like it. Where when he was a baby, he liked it. so we held him a lot. But once he got a little older, he didn't want to be held. So that's why I just like lay down on the floor with him. He likes that, but he doesn't really like to be picked up. Especially because he's fat now. Rich always says that Casper doesn't know how big his rump is. That like he thinks he's still like a tiny little bunny. Because what Casper will do is like when you're like petting him or like cuddling with him, like I think he thinks he's like smaller than he is. Like because I think he doesn't know like his back it occurs to him. He thinks he's only like half the size he is. Because it's really funny how he thinks he's just like still a small bunny when he's really like huge. Um, but he's lost some weight, so thank goodness, because we really have been trying to get him to lose some weight. I don't know how he's still so heavy because we no longer give him carrots, and we only give him a little bit of lettuce now, and this and light kibbles, and they're like for a diet. They're high fiber, and they're supposed to be like if your bunny is fat basically, and still the guy is fat, and I'm just like I don't know how to get this little fella to lose some weight. I mean he has lost weight, but he somehow just like keeps on this weight, and we try so hard to get him. Yes, I am working night for people. Yes, I'm working night. Yes, always on a Friday night. Always on a Friday night, and usually always on a Saturday night. That's why it's not last Saturday. I didn't work last Saturday. That was not good. Usually, yes, always Friday, always Saturday, and usually Sunday, um, and often Monday. Um, Other days can be hit or miss during the week, but always Friday, Saturday, always, always, always. But yeah, but Casper, it just keeps that weight on, and what happened is once he got neutered, he put on so much weight. Before he was neutered, he was a lot more active and he was a lot like happier, and that's why I didn't really want him to get neutered, but we had to. It's required by law, and he used to spray everywhere, which was terrible. But he was much happier and much more like, he exercised a lot. Where now he just likes to lay around and eat. Like, it's like all he likes to do. And I try so hard to get him to lose some weight, and he has, but it's a lot of effort. The guy just keeps on that weight. And I really try to monitor what we give him, but he hates hay. They're supposed to eat hay. He hates hay. The only hay he liked was um, um, it was I can't remember the name. There was a certain kind of hay that's only for baby bunnies because the vet said you can't give him that hay as an adult bunny. It's really actually it's actually a fattening hay. Even in I forget the term of it, but he used to love that hay. But she said no, that's only for baby bunnies. You can't give that to adult bunnies. And I was like, so I tried all these different hays. He wants nothing to do with hay. It's so frustrating because if bunnies are supposed to eat like 60% hay, Casper will not eat hay. And so we get him these Timothy hay treats that they say only have Timothy hay. They don't have any sugar. I don't know if that's true. I hope that's true. Um, those he goes nuts for, and he goes nuts for these Timothy hay blocks. He will not eat hay other than that. And I know that's part of his weight is because he won't eat hay. Like I think hay would make him thinner, and it's so frustrating because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I feel like a bad parent, a bad bunny parent. Like I'm like, eat some hay, Casper, but he won't. He will not eat hay. So Richard even tried to like put hay everywhere last trip to get him to eat hay. He said he would eat a tiny bit, but he didn't really like having the hay everywhere. Like Casper, it likes cleanliness, and when there's hay everywhere, it makes him mad. So I was like, don't do that again, even though he ate a little bit, but he doesn't like it. Like he doesn't like when there's just like messiness everywhere. Like he's a really funny bunny. He's a funny bunny. Funny bunny. I always say he's a funny bunny. But yeah, it's just weird because I'm like, why won't you eat hay? Like, aren't bunnies supposed to like hay? Not Casper. He like wants nothing to do with hay. And I'm like, I don't know how to get him to eat hay. I can't force him to eat it, you know. Richard says take away all the other food and he might eat it, but he doesn't. Like if you take away the other food, he still doesn't eat hay. He'll like starve himself. I don't know what to do. I don't know. He won't eat hay. So I think is a big reason why he's fat because he won't eat hay. But he would eat this one hay that's for baby bunnies. They said I can't think of the term right now. What is the term of that hay? There's a term of hay that's for when they're babies. She said when they get older, it's bad for their teeth. This kind of hay, and it's bad for the digestion. But I can't think of the term. So she said, and it makes them fatter. She said, so don't give him that hay now. He's too old for that hay. Like after he got neutered, she said that hay isn't right for him anymore. But I can't think of that. And that was the only hay he would eat. And I've tried every single hay that's available on Amazon. And he won't eat any of it. Like, darn it. So we settle with the lettuce, but that's all we do now. I no longer do like the carrot tops or anything. We do nothing with the carrots anymore. We just do lettuce and romaine lettuce is what they say. They say they can't have iceberg lettuce. It has to be romaine. So I get him romaine lettuce and then he does a little bit of kibbles and that's all he'll eat. He won't eat hay. I feel so frustrated that my bunny won't eat hay. Because they say they're supposed to eat 60% hay of their diet. And Casper eats 0% hay. And it's just like, that can't be good for him long term. But I mean, how are you going to force an animal to eat something if they don't want to? It's one of those things. I don't know what to do. But that's why he's fat. But he has lost an insane amount of weight compared to what he used to be. He's much thinner, but I would like him to be even a little more thinner because not that I care, like in the sense of like, I'm not like, oh, he's fat. It's just more like people say for his health that he's too fat. It's not like I have an eating disorder with my bunny. It's not like that. It's just that people say he's too fat. And I can see that. And I know that eventually can be bad for his health. So, but it's frustrating because I feel like at my wit's end with him of like, I don't know how to get him to like lose weight. Like, and I try to really restrict what he eats, but he gets so mad to like, if there's no lettuce out and stuff. But I think Richard does a little better when I'm not home because I'm such a sucker for like caving in. Richard's like, just don't put it out. Like, just he'll do something else. And I'm like, but he just sits there and looks at me, and like I just know it because like he tells me like when he wants food, like in his own little way, and he'll do that, and I'll be like, but he's hungry, and I just feel bad. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if any of you struggle with keeping your animals in check for when some animals have a little bit of overeating problems. And then other animals don't seem to, but some really do. Like some animals are like overeat. My dad used to tease that his cat was bulimic because his cat had this vomiting problem that it would eat and then it would overeat and then it would vomit. And I was like, oh my God, you literally do have like a bulimic cat. But it had some like, I don't know what was wrong with the cat. It wasn't like, I wasn't trying to have an eating disorder. But yeah, it would eat and it would vomit everywhere and it was horrible. It would it would just be everywhere all over the house. And I'd be like, oh, this is terrible. But yeah, she had like this. She eventually passed. Unfortunately, her name was Chloe, and it was my dad's favorite cat. Oh my God, my dad lost his mind when his cat died. My dad cares more about his cats than me. 100%. 100%. My dad cares more about his cat than me. Like I've always known that. I have always known as a child that my dad cared more about his cat than his children. Like that's how weird my dad is. Like he adores cats but hates children. He doesn't like children. Like he was open about that. Like when we were children, he would say he doesn't like children. Like I hate kids. Like, as he had kids. Okay. Yeah, we know. Thanks. We know you hate us. It's just weird. I don't know. So when people are like, "How do you not talk to your dad?" I'm like, "It's not that I don't talk to my dad. It's my dad doesn't talk to me." And you go, "Oh, it's my fault." Not really. It can't really be a child's fault. It's always the parent's fault. It's always the parent's fault if you don't talk to your child. That's not the child's fault. Sorry. You guys can blame me, but sorry. That's my dad's fault, not me. Like, you can't blame me. I'm a child to a man that's a monster. Like, that's not my fault. Like, I mean, my dad is a monster. Everyone hates my dad. I mean, he's not nice. My dad got fired for like pushing women at his work. Like, he's not nice. He hates women too. He like hates women. And it's really weird. Like, he says the only women he likes in the whole world is me and my stepmom, not even my sister. That's what he used to say. He's like, the only two women I like are you and Cher, and now I'm not even on that list. So the only person he likes is Cher, but not even my sister was on the list, and like she knew that. It was like, I don't even like your sister. She's a little cunt, is what my dad would say, but wouldn't say cunt. He would say the real thing about my own sister, about his daughter. So now I am that probably word to my dad. So it's not weird that I called others that since my own father called me that. And yeah. So when people are like, "Oh, Joy, you're the bad person that your father doesn't speak to you," I go, "Yeah, unless you knew my father, then you wouldn't say that." I mean, I don't think anyone speaks to my father. Not his, well, his mom died, but not his dad, not his sisters, barely his brother. Um, Definitely not my mom's family. My grandpa wouldn't even marry my mom, wouldn't even walk her down the aisle because he despised my father from the day they met. Like, he said, absolutely not. I will not let you marry my daughter. And so my mom said, well, then we just won't let you be part of the wedding. And my grandpa, like, was ecstatic the day they got divorced. And my parents were married for like 13 years, too. And my grandpa never came around. I never saw my grandpa for 13 years. Um, well, I wasn't alive for all of those years. I didn't see my grandpa for 6 years, because they were only together for 6 years of their life. They were married 13, but only 6 was I alive. Um, but we never saw grandma or grandpa. Like, they disowned my mom until my dad left her. And then they're like, oh, fabulous. Oh, thank God, thank God, thank God. But my mom was devastated, and they were just like, oh, best day ever. And she was like in misery. And they were like, oh, this is so fabulous. Thank God. My grandpa used to say my dad was the head of the idiots convention. That was his favorite thing to say. Your dad's such a moron. He's the head of the idiots convention. Where that moron Mark, because my dad's name is Mark, which I love Mark Fusion, but my dad spells it with a K, not a C. So, you're okay, Mark? Sorry, I lost my ear thing. I hope you guys still hear me. Sometimes I hit these things and they don't work right over it. It's still good. Yeah, so my dad, yeah, not a nice guy. And I always liked my dad. My mom never understood why. She's like, I think you're the only person that likes your dad. And I was. And I used to get along with my dad, and I still would if I was around my dad. Like, we'd be friends. Um, but he's a horrid parent. But we used to be friends, if that makes sense. And my dad like prided himself in being like, I'm your friend, not your dad, kind of thing. Um, and he's like, your mom is the parent, like I'm not a parent. And like he was okay with that. Like, he wasn't a parent. He used the like the Disneyland dad, like we only saw him like on the weekends. And then he moved away. So then we like never saw him. My dad, when I was young, lived in Northern California, but when I turned 10, so for 4 years, he lived in Northern California, when I was a child, and that's when I was like really close with my stepbrothers. But then they moved to Los Angeles, and we just never saw him. I would see my dad like twice a year, maybe, and he didn't care. He didn't care. He was totally cool with that. He would never call. you would have to call him. He would never call. He would never come to anything. Um, I remember my dad was a track star, and he never came once to a meet that I was. And he used to say that his father never came to his track meets, and like he would talk about that like all my childhood of like how horrible his own father was for never coming to his track meets, and my dad's never been to one, and he's never seen me cheerlead or jack. And they've been to one dance competition and they hated it. And they complained the entire time because it's like 3 hours for those dance things that the parents have to sit there and watch like everyone else dance except for their child, because you only have a couple of performances and within the 3 hours. I don't know if you guys know, that's how it like works. Like everybody performs. So the whole studio performs, and so like you only have like maybe 3 dance songs that you perform, and this they have to sit there and watch. And you're not allowed. Back in the day, it was VHS tapes. So people would be recording with these camcorders that you couldn't open the door, or it would like ruin it. So like once your parents were in there, they weren't allowed to leave. So my dad was infuriated that they got stuck in there for like 3 hours, and he's like, never again am I watching you dance. That was the worst day. That was the worst 3 hours I've ever spent. The worst thing ever. You did fine, but the rest was total BS. And I'm just like, okay, Dad, that was horrible. I can't believe they locked us in there. This is horrible. Why didn't you tell us? We'd be stuck there for 3 hours. We would have never come if you said it was 3 hours. We thought your thing was like 5 minutes, like 5 minute dance, and then we're out of here. And never would we have stayed 3 hours. It was horrible. I mean, they bitched the entire time. And so I never invited them again. It was him and my stepmom. And he was like, so that's the only thing my dad has ever come to is like one dance thing. And I did dance for several years, and I was a cheerleader, and I did track. And oh, my dad also didn't come to the Air Force, except for when I gave him the right to pin on my wings, which my mother was devastated that I gave my father the right to pin on my wings. So when you get your wings as a flyer, which means you become a flyer, you get your wings. They call them blood wings because which sounds like something else. But what it is someone has to hit you in the chest when you get your wings, but they are um, a metal pin. So you're punched um, with where the pin is, so it can actually make you bleed. And my dad wouldn't do it. So I asked my dad to come to be the one to pin on my wings, and then he has to punch you. And I'm not doing that. I'll punch you, and not punch my daughter. Like, well, you've done everything but punch me. You punched me mentally, basically. But he's like, nope, not gonna do it. I was like, well, then why'd I even bring you to do this? Mom would have done it. My mom would have done it. And so I gave him the honor of doing it. So that was the only time he ever visited me, just because he got the honor of like doing this. But then he wouldn't do it, and everyone was like, "That's so lame! Like your dad wouldn't even do it right." Like, so like, why'd you even have your dad do it? And I was like, I didn't know. And so he wouldn't do it, and he like refused. Like he was on stage because you're on stage in front of all your squadron, and he wouldn't do it. And so whatever. But yeah, so everyone else will. So everyone else will come out and punch you, and it hurts. But he wouldn't do it. So whatever. But my mom was devastated that I asked him to do it and not her. Because it's supposed to be the person that like was the most impactful in your life, like the person that got you to where you were at. So it really was more my mom than my dad. And like to this day, I feel bad. I think it was part of her downfall that I chose him on that day and not her, like, because she died like a year later. Um, And I'm like, maybe I should have let her pin on my wings and maybe she wouldn't have killed herself. I mean, it was like, so I definitely feel like guilt like that. But whatever. Can't go back, I was a child. I mean, I was only like 19 years old at the time. I didn't know any better. And I thought your dad seemed like the person to do it. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like. But what was lame is my mom used to visit me all the time, and he never visited me until like I asked him to do an honor, and then he's like running over. well, yeah, next plane ticket there kind of thing to just get to be like the one. And but he was so rude, and I remember him being like, "I can't even believe you have friends." And I had like tons of friends. And then so the only other time my dad came to the Air Force was to bring me home. And the same thing, like I had all these going away parties. Like, oh my gosh, people gave me about 20 going away parties. Like I was very popular in the Air Force. Like people adored me. Like I had so many friends. And I had so many going away parties, and there was like so many things given to me, like all these things people would give me, just saying goodbye, and like these plaques and things, and everyone signs their name on. I don't have any more, unfortunately, lost it over the years, but it used to be in our surge unit. I had a huge like photo of the plane I was on, and it was signed by every person in my squadron. They wrote something and signed it, like a going away message, and it was very significant to me. And like, but I don't have this anymore. But my dad was just like shocked, like, "Oh my God, you have friends? Like, I thought you were a loser, basically." And I'm like, "Thanks, Dad. No, that's you, Dad. Not me. You're the one with no friends. I have always had friends. I don't have that many now, more by choice, but I definitely consider Beth Adone my friend. I consider Amanda my friend. I consider Totally Tiffany my friend. So they're all from on here now. But I don't have a lot of friends anymore just because like my husband is my best friend. But back in the day, I had a lot of friends, and my dad has never had a friend ever. And he just literally was like stunned at the idea that his daughter could have friends. And I'm just like, that shouldn't be a thing, Dad. That shouldn't be a thing that you're stunned that your child has friends. That shouldn't be like a shocking thing to you. And you shouldn't insult me in that way, but whatever. And people will like bitch at me for bitching about my dad, but I'm like, if you had him for a dad, you would probably bitch more than me. I mean, you might have a dad that actually cares. I don't. So there's that. I had a mom that cared enough to kill herself. So you guys might have better parents than I do, and you probably do, because mine are definitely not the best. Um, I thought my mom was the best, till I realized she cared more about herself than her two daughters. Because to do that, I don't know how you do that as a parent. I couldn't do that if I was a parent. I know that. I mean, I try not to be mad at her about it because she was mentally ill. She was bipolar, but still, I don't know how she did it. That's why I wonder if my stepdad did it. They still can't just come to the realization that she did, and I don't know if she did. It may have been him, but it probably was her. And that's a sad realization. Um, but when people try to judge me for my upbringing, I'm like, how are you going to judge me for something I didn't have any say in? I didn't choose my parents. I know there's a Michael Fronte song that says we chose our family before we were born. Not sure how we do that because I don't believe in that because I wouldn't have chose them. I'll tell you that much. So I don't know. There's people that believe that we choose our family before we exist. Not sure what that theory's about, but maybe, maybe if I was a glutton for punishment, then I would choose those two. So maybe I did. Maybe I was like, I want to have a horrible life. Let me pick those two parents. Let me make sure to pick the worst parents. Maybe I did. I probably did. It probably is my fault. But it's funny when people blame me for my mom's death. I'm like, you do realize that's pretty much the worst thing you could say. Because people already blame themselves when it comes to suicide, when their loved one dies due to suicide. So it's like to then also like confirm it is like you're just like not a good person. And people say that to me all the time, like, "Oh, it's your mom's fault. She killed herself." I'm like, "Thanks for saying that, because that's what I already believe, but I try not to believe that." But thank you, because like if it happened to you, I guarantee you wouldn't want someone saying that to you. And even at my mom's funeral, I was talking to Bethany about this. People were like, "Oh, it's so sad to know that Laura's going to hell." Like that's what they told me. Because in Christianity, they believe if you kill yourself, you're going to hell. And I'm like, hey, thanks